Hey everyone, SweetJohnnyCage here, back with another guide for Elden Ring. This time I'm going to show you how to solve the maze of the Subterranean Shunning-Grounds. So I'm basically going to show you how to get through this place. I have already killed basically every single enemy in here, so I will not be showing you like how to fight everything. I'll talk about it, I'll explain it, and I'll also tell you when it's kind of better to run instead of fighting. But I also want to mention that there are two ways to get down here. I will link a guide for each of those in the description below. The first way is the first time you come to the capital. About halfway through, once you reach a central checkpoint or site of grace, you'll be able to just sort of jump into like a ruined section of the city, jump into a well, and then kind of just follow a singular path down here. The second way is when you come to the capital later on in the game, a sewer grate in a central street will now be open, and then you can just drop down here. That guide, I do want to warn you, does contain spoilers for the end game. So you've been warned, but if you're at the end game and you think that you're locked out of this place, I can guarantee you are not. You can still get down here and do everything there is. So there's also an additional dungeon down here called Leyndell Catacombs. I will show you how to get there, and then I will also link a guide for how to solve that maze. So it's basically a maze within a maze, as well as fight the boss of that dungeon, of course. There is one boss down here, and then I will actually show you. I'll stop outside the boss area in this video, and then I'll show you what I would consider a spoiler after that boss. Just, you've been warned, but I'll warn you again once we get there. Okay, so we are going to start from the underground roadside site of grace. This is the first and really only site of grace down here, aside from the one in Leyndell Catacombs. And right before the main boss of this area as well. So we're going to start from here. Again, I've already solved all this. I have all the doors open, but I'm going to walk you through what to do. Cool. So starting off, your only real option is to go here. However, you can proceed this way and then jump down here. What I will tell you is that this is actually the quickest way to get through this area. If you don't want to bother with Leyndell Catacombs, you don't have to. You can just jump down here and get going. However, there is an item near Leyndell Catacombs that helps a great deal with the boss of the Subterranean Shunning-Grounds. So instead, we are going to jump down here. And this is the sort of like intended way to do this. Okay, so we're going to jump down here. It's going to be a lot of gargoyles for you to kill. They jump around from all sorts of crazy places. Down on the surface right here, you can drop down and fight a giant prawn. You can do that, but we're going to keep going. Again, there's going to be a lot of gargoyles here trying to kill you. There's going to be like one behind this box that jumps out at you. There's actually one over there that I still haven't killed. Let me just pop him off real quick. Kill him. Oh, I didn't actually kill him. Maybe he'll jump off to his own death. There you go, pal. Great. If you look down here, you can't see it in my playthrough here, but there is a giant prawn sort of like half buried into the dirt. You do have to be very careful, but I'll show you what's down there in a little bit. We're going to continue along these pipes here and then jump up here. And then we're going to activate our first little shortcut. But you want to be extremely careful because to the left of this doorway is a fell twin. They're called, I think. Just a big dude here, so you got to watch out for him. You are actually better off just pulling this lever and opening the Portcullis and then worrying about him. Just in case you die, you can just quickly get your runes back. Okay, so what we're going to do is, we go through this Portcullis. There's going to be a lesser fell one here, or fell twin, and then we are actually back at the site of grace. So we're going to go back through here, turn right, go through the Portcullis where we just opened, and then we're going to go back down towards the sewers. So we're going to go through this door, and then we're going to turn left. And then if you have, like, rested and you're spawning again fresh, there will be a gargoyle right here that you have to be careful for. So like I said, this whole, like, half of the sewers is actually optional, but there's a really important item down here as well as a dungeon. So from this pipe, you can actually just drop onto this pipe, and then you want to walk all the way down to the bottom of this, and then drop again. And then you will lose some health, but it's okay. I suppose you may be able to like land on this pipe and take less damage, but either way. So over there in the distance, you can fight a giant prawn, and then there will be another one buried or half submerged, just not really hiding too well, about right here. Just past this prawn, however, it's just a treasure. It's either floating or it's maybe supposed to be on one of these corpses, but there's a treasure here, and this treasure is called Mohg's Shackle, and you can use it on the boss of the Subterranean Shunning-Grounds. So that's really the main reason you want to come down here. And then to get back, you want to come through here. And then to the right, there is a Site of Grace, and this is for the Leyndell Catacombs. And then down there is the dungeon. I will link the guide in the description below for how to get through that dungeon, and I'll also put a little info card up top. To get back, however, you want to ride this elevator up, and then you're going to go through like a couple rooms of what seems like a dungeon that's going to go on forever. It's just a couple rooms, don't worry. There will be phantom enemies here, and then you will hear some humming, and it's actually a snail, and the snail is right here. So just kill the snail. It'll kill all the enemies. Just be careful. You want to kill it quickly because the enemies can gang up on you. But once you kill the snail, you can safely proceed out of here. And then through this room, you can see a switch on the other side. So you want to pull this switch, and then it's going to open up something that's blocking this door, which is actually this statue. Just pulls it back. And then, of course, the giant fell one will be here. So you got to either deal with him or just run. And then you can go back through this Portcullis and back towards the Site of Grace. So this whole half here is completely optional, but you get Mohg's Shackle and then access to another dungeon. And we are right back here at the Site of Grace once again. So our next mission, sort of, is to try to open this door. And this door will actually lead us to the boss in a way, but it takes a while to open this door. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn left, and instead of jumping down that ladder again, instead what we're going to do is we're going to fall into a pit that is missing a grate up top. So down here there's going to be a bunch of rats for you to kill. And this is where the place gets really, really confusing. I don't want to go too far because I don't want to risk getting poisoned. But down here, oh boy, down here, there's only really one path to go. You just go straight down there. You can kill the plants if you like. There's a ladder at the other end, and that ladder leads to the Dungeater. However, when you get to the top of the ladder, you're going to be in a room with a bunch of those creepy crawly hands that you probably got very familiar with in Karya Manor. So just be careful of those. There is a giant one submerged, and you can barely see its fingers coming out of the ground. It freaked me out. I literally shrieked when it popped up and grabbed me. So just be very, very careful in that next room. But that's all there is there. It's just the route to Dungeater. If you're doing Dungeater's questline, you will need to get very familiar with that path. So just drop down the grate, go down the hall, turn left, go up the ladder, and you're good. What I will say is that once you start Dungeater's questline, you actually meet him and talk to him, here in the Subterranean Shunning-Grounds, you no longer have to kill the hands. They should be permanently despawned after that point once his door is open and you've spoken with him. So you just have to run past the plants and the rats, basically. Okay, so again, this place is so confusing, so let me just sort of reset here. So we drop down from the grate. That way is Dungeater. This is the path that we want to take. So this is your prototypical sewer maze, and this place sucks. Oh, God. I'm like so low on flasks that I really don't want to take any damage. All right, so there's a lot of slugs here. I generally just leave these things alone. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to drop a rainbow stone. And I'm going to do this just to kind of show you how this place works. So we're going to drop a rainbow stone here and make note of the color. So that one is purple. It's actually unfortunate that that one's purple. Let me drop another one. Hopefully we get a different color. Okay. Pink, right? Let me try dropping one more. This way they're not on top of each other. Okay, red, great. So make note of that. So from this rainbow stone, we're just going to jump over the pit here. And then you have a couple of choices. If you go straight, then you will sort of solve the maze. But I'll show you what else there is. So let's turn left, and I'm actually going to drop a rainbow stone right here. This way we kind of remember where we were. Okay, so this one's orange. Pretty helpful. Can you kill this slug? This way it just doesn't clip us on the way back. Okay, so there's our orange rainbow stone, and we can continue onward. Lots of slugs in this little area here. You do just want to be careful. They can come alive. They can deal damage to you. They can be a little risky. So just be very, very careful when you're over here. Okay, great. Oh boy. Come on now. Great job. Okay, so we come to a dead end, and then we can turn in here. This room is a dead end. However, there's a decent item in here. I think it's like a really big upgrade stone or something like that. But basically, you just go to the other end, and then you just hit a dead end. So let's exit. And then we will turn left and go back up the little hill here. Okay, and then if we turn left again, we are back at our orange rainbow stone. Great job. And then right here, this is going to be our purple and red rainbow stone from earlier. Perfect. So instead of turning left, we're going to go straight, and then we're going to follow this path here. Now, what I'm going to do again is I'm going to drop a rainbow stone here. Hopefully it's a different color. Please be a different color. Purple, son of a bitch. Oh my god, double purple. Come on. Purple and white. Perfect. Okay, we're going to jump over this here. Great. And then we're going to come to another intersection. If we were to turn right, this leads to the end. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to turn left. And then from this left path, there's going to be even more slugs. Oh, God. Clear those out. All right. And we're going to come to yet another intersection. And then over here is going to be one of these channeler guys. I'm going to kill him just to get him out of the way. And then this room here is incredibly deadly. There's going to be 2 of these channelers and then a big 6-armed monster that has basically infinite poise. It's going to come out, try to harass you. And then there's actually a 3rd channeler behind this one. This room is awful. But if you look closely, it's actually on the other side of the dead-end hallway that we found earlier. So there are treasures in here. You can get them. I honestly, God, just recommend getting the treasures and getting out. I don't recommend fighting in here. It's not that serious of a room. Okay, so let's go back. And then once again, I will kind of show you where we are in relation to our rainbow stones. All right, so if we turn this way, you can jump back over. And then I'm actually going to go all the way back because everything I've showed you up to this point was completely optional. So that's orange. Great. So we're literally going to start back fresh. So this is the hallway with the rats that we dropped into. We're all the way back here already. Okay? So again, this way is Dungeater through that hallway. And then our path is here. So let's go down here. We'll turn. We're going to jump over. We're going to go this way. We're going to turn. We're going to jump over again. Go straight. Now we are going to turn right. Okay. And then this will just be like a pipe full of slugs. I think there might be a treasure at the end of it, maybe. But we're going to go down this slope. And then we're actually going to run into a giant fell one here. So you want to carefully kill him because, believe it or not, we're actually going to activate another shortcut. However, while fighting this fell one, or fell twin, whatever they're called, if you take too long, the 2 fell twins that are on top above this ladder will take notice and they will come down here. So you have to be very, very quick. I don't really recommend fighting it in the pipe, but if you drag it back far enough, it may drop aggro, reset, and then the ones up here will drop aggro as well. Otherwise, the 2 fell twin will be, there's going to be one right here, and there's going to be one right here, literally right at the statue. So what you want to do is, as soon as you come out of that ladder, run to the right, pull this lever. It will open up this portcullis. And then we are back here at the site of grace, which is just over here. There you go. All right, so that's basically phase 2 of the dungeon, right? Our next mission, for real, is going to be to open this door. So what we're going to do is we're going to proceed this way. And then instead of jumping down into the grate, whoops, we're going to now go through the open portcullis. Portcullis, I think it's called. And then now we're going to turn right. Okay, I'm not sure if this door is closed or not. It may just be open. So what we're going to do is you kind of get tricked into thinking that you need to walk down the stairs. However, what you really want to do is just go back here. Just carefully drop here. Great. And then you'll be able to walk down here. And through this door. Great job. Okay, so there's going to be a couple of clay men here, and then there's going to be a small poison bloom behind this barrel, also guarded by a clay man. And then there's going to be a poison bloom here, and as soon as you walk down the stairs, a couple of poison blooms are going to sprout out of this disgusting pile of corpses. You now have a couple choices. You can go down here. This is a bit of a dead end. There are basilisks down here alongside a giant poison bloom, and then you just turn left, go down there, get some treasure, and you just come back. Be aware, though, there are a lot of basilisks down there. You've been warned, I swear to God. Okay, so instead, we're going to go this way. And we're going to turn here, turn right. There's going to be a bunch of basilisks in here. They're always going to peek around corners. You know the drill. So once you get here, you're going to come to a dead end. Not going to come to a dead end. I apologize. You're going to come to a door that is locked. Now, clearly, this door is unlocked for me. So I'm going to drop a rainbow stone just to signify that this is the door in question, okay? So we're going to drop that, and then we are now going to run through here. Turn here, go up here, and then there's going to be a giant fell one in here. However, as soon as you come out of the pipe, it's going to appear that he aggroes. This isn't actually the case. Instead, what's going to happen is all he does is he just turns. So what you want to do is very carefully crawl this way, and then you'll be able to backstab him by approaching from this angle, okay? You're left with two choices now. You have two ladders. You have this one right here, and then you have this one right here. I recommend taking this one first. Reason being because this actually opens up the door directly in front of the Side of Grace, and this is your final shortcut of the area, okay? So there will be some gargoyles here to contend with. Nothing too serious, but then you just open this door, and then you are back in the main drag here, near the Side of Grace. Okay, so the final phase of this dungeon is now to reach the boss. I'm going to warn you straight up. I have gone through this section a few times and gotten so colossally lost that I have solved it and left rainbow stones for myself, so you won't actually see me drop them, but they are really to help me help you. So this place is so confusing. All right, so from the Start of Grace, we are now going to go through this door. And we have two choices now. We can either go straight through, drop down, and then go up this ladder here, and then drop into the pipe. However, if you've rested at the Side of Grace, the Fell Twin will have respawned, and you probably don't want to deal with him again. So we can take the long way and just deal with a bunch of gargoyles. While going along this route, you will have to deal with new gargoyles, as well as any that have respawned on the lower level. They have a chance of aggroing you and throwing daggers. But once you make it up here, you can drop down, and then jump up here. And then there will be a gargoyle in this section right here. Kill that, and now you're just on the other side. So if you look closely, you can actually see the Side of Grace just through those doors, so we're not too far away. We've just gone to the other side. Okay, so we're going to jump into this pipe, and what I recommend doing as soon as you get in, put down a rainbow stone, okay? Unfortunately, this one is purple, but I promise you the next one, even though it is purple, it is a different rainbow stone. The reason I recommend putting a rainbow stone down is because it lets you know where you started. I mean, you can't get out from here, but if you get lost in here, coming back across this rainbow stone will make you feel like, okay, I got lost for a little while, but I know where I am now. From here, you can go two different ways. You can go forward towards that gate. There's some treasure there and an alternate exit that will essentially just put you back at the very beginning of the Shunning-Grounds, near the first phase that we went through. No big deal. You can just walk out and just sort of circle around and start again. So we're not going to go that way. Instead, we're going to go this way. And in order to finally solve this maze, we're going to drop down a very specific hole, okay? So we're going to jump over this one. Then we're going to turn here. And then we're going to turn here. And there's going to be a hole right here. There is... Basically, what I just did is a loop. So if we were to jump over this and then go back this way, we would go up, and then we would literally be where we just were, right? So, like, this goes back to the entrance. So it's just a little loop. You can turn left immediately if you like. However, a big rat sort of jumps out at you here, so you may have to contend with it and chase it down the pipe. and then there will be a smaller rat here. And again, just to kind of give you your bearings, again, I realize I just sort of walked in a weird circle and everything looks the same. The beginning of the dungeon, or the beginning of this phase, is right here. It's this rainbow stone. Yet another reason I always drop these things. Okay, so we turn here, and then, like I said, you can either go straight, contend with the giant rat, turn left, but either way, they both lead to the same place, and that is this hole right here, where I have conveniently dropped myself another rainbow stone. Okay, so we drop, and then you'll never guess where we are. It's the other side of the fence from earlier. There you go. That's how you open it. It's very dastardly. Okay, so from the rainbow stone, we're going to go this way, down the little hill, and then down another hill here. And then there's going to be a ladder for us to slide down. At the bottom of this ladder are going to be some pots that you can kill. So go ahead and deal with them if you like. And then you will have reached the final elevator, and this will bring you down to the boss. Okay, so that is the end of the Subterranean Shunning-Grounds for the most part. Through this doorway is the boss, and of course there is a brand new shiny site of grace right here that you can rest at and reset everything, and then, if you'd like, teleport back to the top, get the hell out of the sewer, do whatever you want to do. There is more to this, though, and I'm actually going to sort of give you a heads up that past this area is a huge spoiler, so if you'd like to find all this out for yourself, great. It is not necessarily another maze, but there is a secret that has to deal with this boss. Okay, for those staying for spoilers, we're going to go through here, and the boss has already been killed in my playthrough, so, you know, we're going to pretend you beat him too. The item that you picked up, Mohg's Shackle, can be used up to 2 times against this boss. Very helpful. And so, you're in here, you've defeated the boss, you've opened the chest, and if you look very carefully, you can see that there's something back behind where this altar was if you look up top. So what you can do is you can either hit the altar or roll into it to make it move. And then you have this whole other area of the Subterranean Shunning-Grounds, and we have a bit of a platforming challenge now. So we have a couple guys playing, I think, maybe they're shamans. I kind of don't remember the name of this instrument. But anyway, you can kill most of them. However, there are a couple that you need, because there are treasures tucked behind these tents. So what you want to do is you want to aggro one of them, and then they will use a Frenzied Flame ability. And when they do that, it can break the tents. There you go. Now the tent is broken. You have access to the item. Great job. Oh boy. Okay. So once you get that for the first one, now you can start making your way down. So you can walk here, and then you want to drop here. Very good. And then you can walk down here. Be an item on this corpse here. Be this guy playing some music. I'm going to leave him. Just nice background music. And then what we're going to do is we're going to jump along some coffins. Very similar to what we did in Dark Souls 3 in a certain area. Drop onto this one, jump onto this one, and then drop onto this one. Carefully. Great job. All right, then we're going to jump onto this one. Jump onto this one. Do a late jump onto this one. Fall onto this one. Do a little running jump onto this one. And then we're going to fall onto this one. You land right on the edge. And then you fall onto this one. Great job. So now you're on this lower area. And then you'll notice that there's a tent here with, you know, another item tucked in. There is an enemy back here that you can aggro. I'm going to warn you, however, getting him to like really follow you close enough to the tents can be a little frustrating. His pathing is a little nuts because of all the corpses down here. So you have to be really, really patient with him. And what you may want to do is like two-hand your shield by holding triangle and pressing L1. Because if he starts like going backwards, you may just need to like bonk him with your shield to get him to follow you again. Nice, okay, so he blew it up from there. But yeah, he's like a little finicky. You gotta like really be patient with this guy. Let me just And kill him so we can move on. All right. Cool. And then you can also come down here. And there'll be this guy as well. Cool. So it may seem like a dead end. However, what you actually want to do is you just want to jump. A floor will break away, and then you end up here, and there will be a side of grace here. Okay. I'm going to give you a break for spoilers again, because there's more to this than you may think. So I'm going to basically talk about an ending and also tell you how to get out of here without warping. Okay. For those of you who have stayed, I'll show you how to get out of here first, and then we'll talk about the ending. There is an illusory wall right here. Okay? And then there's a chest. And behind that chest is another illusory wall. And then you can drop down onto these tree roots and explore this area to your heart's content. And there will be... It's a whole thing down there. It's a whole thing. I won't even go into it. Just enjoy it. Okay, so while you're down here, there will be a door. And this door doesn't open, doesn't even have an interaction prompt, nothing. This door is specifically for an ending. And I'll give you another break for spoilers. Okay, for those of you who are staying, what we're going to talk about is basically how to trigger endings at the end of the game. Not going to talk about the final boss itself. Just going to talk to you about how to select specific endings, very similar to Dark Souls 3. Basically, you defeat the final boss, and then you do something to select an ending that you have unlocked. I'm also going to talk about a quest line, actually 2 quest lines with 2 very different NPCs, but they are somewhat related. And then I'm also going to tell you how to unlock the Lord of Frenzied Flame ending, as well as how to undo it. And that's very important, because when you are kind of locked into the Lord of Frenzied Flame ending, it prevents you from even selecting a different ending at the end of the game, so you do need to undo it. But in order to undo it, you have to complete a quest line before defeating a very secret boss that is very late game. It's very long. Okay, here we go. So the quest line that we're going to start is actually with an NPC named Hyetta. And Hyetta's quest line ends here in this room. And she tells you how to open the door in the back. I have a theory that following her quest line isn't actually necessary, and that you can do the final step on your own if you want. Basically, the final step is to unequip your armor, just these 4 pieces. You can leave your talismans, items, weapons, everything. Just unequip your armor, and then just walk up to the door in the back, and a prompt will appear to open it. Just in case you're unable to skip everything, I'll tell you about the quest line now. Okay, so Hyetta can first be encountered right up here at the lake-facing cliffs just outside of Stormvale Castle. She will ask you for a Shabriri grape. Chances are you picked one up, but just in case you missed it, just turn around, go back into Stormvale Castle, and in Godric's throne room kind of area, you will find a corpse with a Shabriri grape on it. Just go ahead and give that to her. Then once you reload the area or reload the game, she will move, and she goes up here to the Purified Ruins. Right near where she's standing, in one of the ruins, there is a hidden staircase that is covered by planks. It's inside of one of the crumbling ruins. There's a bunch of soldiers in this one ruin. So kill the soldiers and then just break the planks, and then you can walk down a staircase, and then inside of that little crypt there is a Shabriri grape, along with another item, I think. But anyway, get the Shabriri grape, give it to her, reload, and then she moves again. And she goes right up the road, just near the Gatetown Bridge side of Grace. She's not at the side of Grace. She's sort of against a little ridge. If we got real close, she's probably right here. She's just past the side of Grace. Speak with her again. She'll ask you for another Shabriri grape. This time, however, it's not close. It is at the Revenger's shack on the other side of Liurnia. So you want to come over here, and you'll get invaded by an NPC named Edgar the Revenger. He will drop a Shabriri grape. However, you can actually get that particular Shabriri grape quite early. Edgar is the father that you find in Castle Morn, and his daughter is the one that's here at the Bridge of Sacrifice. If you were to kill Edgar in Castle Morn, he will drop the grape then and there, and then he will not invade you later. But chances are you didn't do that, so again, you go to the Revenger's shack, kill the invader, Edgar. He drops a grape. Cool. Then you go back to Hyetta over here at the Gate Town Bridge. Give her the grape, and then she thanks you for it. What you want to do then is reload the area by teleporting to the side of Grace again, and her dialogue will change. She will ask you what the fingerprint grapes are. You want to tell her what they are. You will know. Basically, the game assumes that you are reading item descriptions, or your character is reading item descriptions, and the answer is actually in the item description of the grapes. So, you tell her what they are. She kind of freaks out a little bit. She's okay with it. And then she will move once more over here. She moves to Bellum Church, and she's like just outside the church, probably like right here against this wall. So you speak with her again. This time she will ask you for a fingerprint grape. Very specific grape. The fingerprint grape can be found in the Frenzied Flame Village up here. Up here, there is you sort of adventure through here, and then you get to a church, which is called the Church of Inhibition. So you kind of have to go through the village, for the most part, to get to the church. In the church, you will be invaded by an NPC named Vike. You want to kill Vike, and then he drops the fingerprint grape. Okay. So, once you have the fingerprint grape, you want to go back to Bellum Church, which is just over here. Oh, it's actually just below it. I just realized that. So Bellum Church is right here. Church of Inhibition is up here. So they're pretty close to each other. Well, relatively. In order to get up there, you got to do a bunch of stuff. But anyway, go back to Bellum Church. Give her the fingerprint grape. She thanks you for it. Exhaust her dialogue. And then she moves one final time, and she will appear right here. And then she tells you how to open the door. She kind of gives you a hint, like, basically, she doesn't tell you to take off all your clothes, but that's basically what the hint is. One other thing that I want to mention, though, is that up here, once you get past the ground lift of Rolled, and you get to, like, the first little section here of these ruins, you'll kind of go past here, and then you will get to the Ancient Snow Valley Ruins. I'm almost positive this is the side of Grace. I'm just going to warp here just to make sure. I'm 99% certain this is the one. I could be wrong, though. I think I'm wrong. I think it's actually Zamor Ruins, believe it or not. There's an NPC that appears here if you've completed another quest line, and this NPC actually tells you how to find everything. Yes, okay. So I'm not going to pick up this item, but if you complete Yura's quest line, Yura is the guy who helps you hunt Bloody Fingers. If you complete his quest line, another NPC will show up here, and it's actually Shabriri. So Shabriri tells you that beneath Leyndell capital, or the capital city or whatever, is the Three Fingers. And so, like, he's sort of telling you that there's more below the city. So, like, I guess that's sort of another hint to, like, look past Mohg, maybe? I don't know. I just found that very interesting. Anywho. So, let me just go back to the Frenzied Flame prescription. Okay, so, once you take off all your clothes and go in front of the door, you can open it, and then a cutscene plays, and you are now marked for the Lord of Frenzied Flame ending. Once you've done that, there is a way to undo it. And this is important because when you finish the game, a Site of Grace will appear after you defeat the final boss. And then after you light that Site of Grace, you can teleport out. If you'd like, you can end the game right then and there by, like, going up to a statue, pressing the prompt, and ending the game. If you are marked for the Lord of Frenzied Flame ending, the game will end right there, the credits roll. However, if you are not marked for the Lord of Frenzied Flame, you can select any other ending at that point. So, what you want to do, or really the most efficient thing to do, is to either end the game and then go back out and adventure and do the next questline that I'm going to talk about, or do the questline before ending the game. The other questline I'm talking about is Millicent's questline. Millicent's questline begins before you even meet her. So, if you go over here in Caelid, there is an area called Gowry Shack. It's actually a shack in this section. It's right before Celia, Town of Sorcery. In Gowry Shack is an NPC named Gowry. he will talk to you about a woman who needs help. And in order to give her help, you need to find an unalloyed gold needle. The unalloyed gold needle can be found in the Swamp of Aeonia, right here, where my cursor is. There is a boss. This boss is Commander O'Neill. Kind of similar to Commander Nile, found in Castle Sol. A bit easier, though, in my opinion. You want to defeat Commander O'Neill, and then he will drop the unalloyed gold needle. So then you take it back to Gowry, he mends it, and then he will also give you a hint card, which is just a note that you can read, on how to solve the mystery of Sellia Town of Sorcery. Basically, you just light the 3 beacons. To reach the beacons, you just climb along the tree roots, and then after you light all 3, the back door to the outskirts of Sellia opens up. And then you can follow that road, which is basically this one right here. It's kind of faint on the map. It's the Sellia back streets. And then you just follow this up, and then you end up at the Church of the Plague. Inside of the Church of Plague is another NPC named Millicent. What you want to do is you want to give her that unalloyed gold needle. Once you give it to her, you exhaust your dialogue, you reload the area, either by teleporting to the site of grace of the Church of the Plague, or just reloading your save. Once you reload, she kind of recovers. You can speak with her again. She thanks you, and then you exhaust your dialogue again, and then you want to either reload the area or just go or warp somewhere and go back to Gowry's shack. Once you're back at Gowry's shack and you've reloaded, Millicent will be there as well. And then what you want to do is speak with both of them, exhaust their dialogue, and then Millicent will disappear again. At that point, Gowry starts selling you spells as well. Once Millicent disappears, that is when the next part of the quest begins. So, what's going to happen is Sellia is going to move all the way up to Leyndell area, so Altus Plateau, basically. She is going to move to this site of grace up here, the Erdtree Gazing Hill. More specifically, she's like up the hill here, so she'll probably be about here. You want to speak with her there, and she starts talking about wishing that she had another arm or something like that. What you want to do is you want to go up here to the Shaded Castle. This area is a little tough to get to because the pathway kind of leads you up this way, up these ridges. However, what you want to do is you want to make your way down into this ravine and then follow the ravine up. And then eventually you'll find the path that brings you to the Shaded Castle. Inside of the Shaded Castle is a somewhat hidden room. It's not that hard to find. I found it just by adventuring through the area and kind of just taking all the pathways. And I will cover this more in depth in Millicent's guide specifically, but I'm covering it here because this whole Lord of Frenzied Flame thing is kind of complicated and I want to cover all the bases. But basically, adventure through the Shaded Castle. Eventually, you'll come to a room that is guarded by a prosthetic knight, we'll call them, or Aeonian knight. And inside of that room is a chest, and inside of that chest is a prosthetic. Once you have the prosthetic, you can either complete the dungeon, defeat the boss there, which I recommend doing anyway, and then you want to go back to Millicent, who is still at Erdtree Gazing Hill, just up the hill, give her the prosthetic, she thanks you, and then you can exhaust her dialogue again, and then she leaves and moves. The next place she goes is also in Altus, and that is up here to the Windmill Village. So this is Dominula Windmill Village. Up here is a boss. This is a Godskin Apostle. Way easier to fight than the one in Caelid Divine Tower. Way easier because you have so much more room. You can even find him on Torrent if you want. I think there's a possibility that you can summon Millicent for this fight. I could be wrong on that. I did this questline well after killing the boss, so I'm not sure. But after you defeat the boss, a Site of Grace spawns. You want to just reload the area. You can just warp right to Windmill Heights, and then Millicent will be like right in front of the Site of Grace. You speak with her. She talks about how now she can wield a blade like never before because she has this great prosthetic, and she feels like a deeper connection to a certain person. So, at this point, we're going to get kind of deep into spoiler territory in terms of like an optional endgame area. Okay, so where Millicent goes next is the consecrated snowfield area. Where she's actually going to go first is Zamor Ruins. You want to speak with her here. This is just on the other side of the Grand Lift of Rold, where we just were, talking about Shabriri. She'll be basically in the same exact location as Shabriri was. Speak with her. She'll tell you that she's looking for, like, the Halig tree up here. And so that's kind of our next mission. So in order to access the Halig tree, we need both halves of the Halig tree secret medallion. The first half that you get is back in Liurnia of the Lakes, here in the Albinoric village. There's so much going on here now. Village of the Albinorics, right here. So in this village, there is an NPC that is chameleoned as a pot. It's the only pot in the whole village. It's like right near the site of grace. Just follow the hill up, and then eventually you will find like a pot that is against the cliff face. Hit it once, roll into it, and then it will expose an NPC named Albus. He'll speak with you. He'll give you the other half. He'll give you one half of the medallion. The other half can be found in a place called Castle Soul. This is up here in the mountaintops of Giants. You want to defeat the boss here, which is Commander Nile. And then once you defeat him, you can get to the top of the castle, open a treasure chest, and you'll find the other half of the Halig Tree Secret Medallion. With both halves, you want to go back to the Grand Lift of Rold, go back to this side of Grace, and then walk onto the lift again. And then you can change the prompt that says raise the medallion. You can change it, and then it turns into raise the secret medallion. Once you raise the secret medallion, you will be brought here, which is the hidden path to the Halig tree. Once you solve this little area, you can just run through it. It's like an optional dungeon. You can run through it, then you get to the consecrated snowfield, and then you just adventure all along here until you reach Ordina Liturgical Town. You want to solve the puzzle here, which is basically the same premise as the one in Celia back in Caelid. You want to light the 4 beacons, which I've highlighted here. And then once you light the 4 beacons, the puzzle kind of ends and the teleporter is unlocked. This teleporter brings you all the way across the mountains directly to the Halig Tree canopy. So you go through Mikkela's Halig Tree, you fight a boss there, and then just past the boss at the... which side of Grace is it? The prayer room side of Grace, you will find Millicent once again. You want to speak with her here, and then she will not move from this location until you do the final step of the quest line. So what you want to do is you want to go to the drainage channel side of Grace. You will run into this throughout your adventure of Elfale Brace of the Halig Tree. And I'm actually going to show you where to go because this is a little confusing. This is really the only like hidden, super hidden kind of thing with this quest line. So from Elfale Brace of the Halig Tree, the drainage channel, you want to go back up here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go up this ladder. And then this is going to lead into this room here. So I'm going to take out my weapon because I just want to kill this creepy crawly thing. Nice. Okay. And then you're going to go along this branch here. This is very easy to miss. And then once in this branch, drop down, and then you must kill the ulcerated tree spirit that is in this pool of rot. It's a really, really frustrating mini-boss fight. It's not really mini-boss. It's just a straight-up boss. And you need to walk into this pool of rot in order to get it to come out. And then you just got to fight it. I sort of cheesed it by coming up here and just like attacking it from here. I didn't use any summons or spells or anything, but I just attacked it from here. It's not exactly a safe zone, but you can come up here to heal a little bit and get away from it, and then you just kind of go back down here and fight it. Once the ulcerated tree spirit is dead, I think you have to reload the area. You will want to just to kind of get your flasks back and everything. So you want to reload the area, come back, and then right about here, you will see 2 summon signs. One is gold, one is red. To complete this quest line and to be able to undo the Lord of Frenzied Flame ending, you want to use the gold summon sign. The gold summon sign will summon you into Millicent's world to help her kill a series of NPC invaders. It's basically like a 4v2 or a 3v2 or something like that. You can try infinitely. If you die, it's no big deal. You actually just get sent right back to the summon sign, and you just go back in, you get your flasks back, and you try again. If you want, you can use the red summon sign and end up killing Millicent and getting a different drop. However, that ends the quest line. So use the gold one, help her out, and then once you're successful, you get sent back out. And then Millicent can be found right here where her corpse is. One thing you want to be extremely careful of is when you are done with the invasion, you're going to come here and you do not want to just plop. You don't want to like jump onto her. If you do that, she will die and the quest will end very prematurely. And this is like the last step, so you don't want to mess this up now. So she'll be down here. You want to speak with her until she exhausts her dialogue, and then she will give you back the unalloyed gold needle. Okay? Once she does that, you can reload. I think she might have a little bit more dialogue, and then she's done. Her quest line is basically over. Okay, once you've done that, you want to keep adventuring until you find the Halig Tree Roots Site of Grace. From here, you want to defeat the boss. And I have a guide on how to kill this boss. It's definitely the hardest one in the entire game. So you want to kill this boss, and then after she dies, you want to reload the area once again, and then you will see this flower. With this flower, you want to walk up to it, and then you will be able to return the unalloyed gold needle. So I've kind of like reloaded my save, and I haven't done this yet. And then once you do that, or I think you're actually going to retrieve it. Yes. Okay, so I don't actually have it on me. But basically what you want to do is you want to take the... You'll get the needle, and then it'll get added to your regular usable inventory. It's not actually a key item. I guess I haven't reloaded this save, so I don't have it in this inventory. But you'll get an item out of this flower, and then that is the item you can use to retrieve or to undo the Lord of Frenzied Flame ending. So once you have that, you can adventure through the rest of the game. You will then go to another area, which we have not discussed yet. So this is like a really final game area, no joke. You want to go to this place here. This is Crumbling Farm Azula. Once you defeat the final boss of the mountains, you get sent here. Then what you want to do is you want to fight and kill a hidden boss. And I'm going to show you how to get to this boss now, because this is like really, really hidden. Okay, so eventually you will find the Site of Grace called beside the Great Bridge. So from here, you want to go back down this elevator. I'll pull the lever and bring this back up. And what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to access a secret boss. The boss is already dead for me, and I do have a guide for how to kill it, so I'll link that in the description below. All right. Cool beans. So from here, I'm just going to run. I'm going to ignore all the enemies. All right, so we're going to keep running. And then we are able to drop off of this platform here where all these hints are. You have to be extremely careful, though, because you can end up dropping to your death. Oh, my God, that was close. All right, drop again. And then drop again. And drop one more time. All right, then we're going to follow this path onto this, like, flat area. And you'll notice that one of these little fossilized crypts is empty. And what you're going to do is you're going to walk up to this, and then you will be able to rest here. So once you rest there, you'll be transported to the boss's arena. That boss is Dragonlord Placidusax. Once you defeat Dragonlord Placidusax, you will then have access to this area again. Okay, once you have safe access to this area after the boss is dead, that is when you want to use the needle that you took out of the flower. Upon using that, you will have undone the Lord of Frenzied Flame ending. You will no longer be able to trigger it. However, if you go back to the flower, you can, I think, return and exchange the needle and just like keep switching it back and forth, I think. But I actually haven't tested that part myself. But basically, this is how you undo it. Okay, so with it undone, what that means is after you defeat the final boss, you will then be able to select other endings. So if you have not undone it, your only option is to end the game with the Lord of Frenzied Flame ending. But if you choose to undo the ending, then you get access to literally every other ending that you've unlocked. So Frenzied Flame is really the only one that like locks you out of everything else, which is why they give you the option to undo it. And that's it. That's the whole thing. It is like such a well-hidden secret ending. I'm glad you can undo it, and I'm actually very glad the way to undo it is like so convoluted, because I like that it involves several NPCs. I like that it involves a couple hidden bosses. Like, some people consider Placiduous Axe to be extremely difficult, especially coming after Malenia. So, like, I like that getting the ending is difficult and undoing the ending is just as difficult. Okay, but that's it. That's the whole thing. That's the Subterranean Shunning-Grounds. That's how to get and undo the Lord of Frenzied Flame ending, and a little bit of info on how to select different endings. All right. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment. I'll do my best to help you out. If you're looking for more guides for Elden Ring, please subscribe to the channel so you get alerted when new guides go live. If you're interested in supporting the channel monetarily, please consider becoming a channel member by clicking the blue join button below this video. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter and join my Discord. The links for those are in the description below. As always, I'm SweetJohnnyCage. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.